ඇස් විහිදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. I am Jama Ratnagar for the Newsfirst team, coming to you live from the Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo. Before we head into our local stories in detail, let's start off tonight's bulletin with a look at headlines.
Reckless bus drivers kill 6, 52 others hospitalized. Death toll caused by consumption of illicit liquor hits 10, 15 others hospitalized. Signing the agreement of the UNP alliance postponed. UNP MPs say majority of the parties request Sajid Premadasa to contest the presidential election. 2 mass shootings in America in 24 hours, 29 dead.
Now up first in your bulletin tonight is a rather tragic story where 6 people lost their lives in a road accident where 2 buses collided head-on in Vaskaduwa, Kalutara. 52 people who were injured have been hospitalized, and according to police, 1 child is among the injured. A CTB bus attached to the Alpitia depot had left for Colombo from Mapalagama at 3:15 this morning. A private bus plying from Mullaitivu to Tangol had begun its journey to Colombo at 6:15 last night and had left Colombo at 3:45 this morning. The 2 buses had collided head-on in Vaskaduwa, Kalutara at 5:15 this morning. The CTB bus plying from Alpitia to Colombo had attempted to overtake a lorry and had collided with the private bus travelling in the opposite direction.
මම මිනිස්සෙක්ව දැම්ම ට්‍රීවිල් එකෙන් ගෙනල්ලා මේ බස් එකට ලයිට් ගාලා නවත්තලා නාගස්සන්දී මට හොඳට මතකයි මේ LPT බැඩ් එක හරියට 4:00 ඔව් ඉතින් දාලා ශනිකෙන් මට සද්දෙකුත් ඇහුණා මම එහෙම ආපහු ගල්බ ඩයරයක් අදුනා. The injured were admitted to the Nagoda and Panadura hospitals. According to hospital officials, surgeries have been performed on several of the injured. From the 1st of January this year to the 2nd of August, 1,629 people have died due to road accidents. It must be clearly stated that negligent driving has caused the deaths of more than 60% of the victims.
මේ අපරීක්ෂාකාරී ලෙස රියපදවපු පුද්ගලයන් කියලා.
The fact that negligent driving of buses and the carelessness of bus drivers has caused many such fatal accidents in the past. There is a trend where various colourful buses are being displayed on social media. Many people who shared their experiences of travelling in the bus labelled it as an exhilarating experience. A video of the buses being displayed in front of school students is also circulating on social media.
බීමත් රියදුරන්
The balloon is there to identify drunk drivers. We know that these bus drivers and private bus drivers make stops along their journey to drink a cup of tea. We also know that these drivers are being served inside rooms. Does the police have any way of identifying if these drivers are under the influence of drugs or cannabis or the drug named ice? The police have done nothing. 6 people are dead and more than 50 are in the hospital. These private bus drivers drive on the road like hooligans. The conductors use profanity and the state sector employees say nothing about it. The general public should apply for leave on a single day and assault them. The drivers who cause accidents on the middle of the road should be killed. How many people will be crippled for life after this accident? Laws should be formulated to limit the number of times a bus can travel along a certain route. In more tragic news from here at home, the number of deaths caused by the consumption of illegal alcohol has increased in Banduragoda, Mirigama. According to police, the number of deaths that stood at 6 yesterday has risen to 10 by today.
The body of one of the 4 people who died in the past 24 hours was found inside a guard post of a pineapple plantation in Banduragoda. The deceased man, a resident of Balangoda, was the keeper of the pineapple plantation. The 3 others passed away while they were being treated in hospital. 15 other people who had purchased alcohol from this illegal brewery are still receiving treatment at the Mirigama and Watupitivala hospitals. The suspected owner of the illegal brewery was arrested yesterday, and the residents of the area allege that the illegal brewery had operated with the support of police officials.
Although we informed the police it is useless, he was arrested and immediately released. This entire village knows about this. I don't know if people are scared of him, but no one speaks a word about it. We don't care. Even if we are killed, we speak the truth. Although the police comes now, when we told the police, they did not come. They took bribes from this man. This man has been conducting this in secret. It was useless to inform any other police station. If we inform the Paliagoda police, they come here and the woman in the market tells them to hide the goods. This is why even the Colombo police could not nab these people.
The final rites of 2 of the deceased was conducted this afternoon. When their bodies were being taken to the cemetery, area residents staged a protest obstructing the Nigambo-Mirigama main road. The officers in charge of the Palavatta and Kotadeniava police divisions met and spoke with the protesters. The group called off their protest after the police officers promised a fair investigation into the incident. Banduragoda is under the Pallevela Police Division. I have to clearly state the manner in which the OIC of the Pallevela Police Station behaves has been problematic. We will conduct investigations about this for 2 to 3 days, but it is quite evident that false information has surfaced regarding this incident. A separate investigation is underway to look into that. However, 2 suspects have been arrested as of now. One of them is the person who is behind this illicit liquor business. But it is of utmost importance to conduct an investigation about the behavior of the officer in charge of the Pallevela police station.
පල්ලෙවෙල පොලිස් ස්ථානයේ ස්ථානාධිපතිවරයාගේ ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය සම්බන්ධයෙන් පරීක්ෂණයක් සිදු කිරීම අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි.
The Ministry of Justice and Prison Reforms has filed a complaint with the Inspector General of Police over the murder of a prison's jailer who was shot at the Kuligoda junction in Ambalangoda. The ministry stated that the complaint was filed requesting to expedite the investigations over the incident.
According to the police, further investigations into the incident are underway based on CCTV footage in the area. 4 special police teams have been deployed for the investigations. The shooters have not yet been identified. The main jailer of the training school of the Valikada prison was shot and killed at about 6 last evening at the Kuligoda junction in Ambalangoda. The chief jailer Thilina Ruwanjaratna is accused of maintaining ties with the head of an underworld group in the south named Podilassi. The accusations were based on the information revealed during a raid conducted on the 19th of this month. During the raid, Vijitananda Soisa alias Ronji Lokka, Saman Priyanta alias Saman Lokka were arrested during the raid of a location that was used to distribute drugs. Ranji Lokka is a suspect in the murder of Dr. Priyanta Prasad Jayasinghe attached to the Borakanda Hospital, popularly known as Hitahonda Dostara, in the year 2011, and the murder of a businessman, his wife, and the 4-year-old son in Idam Tota Ambalangoda. Saman Lokka is a defendant in the murder case of Susantha Mendis, alias Susa. Both Saman Lokka and Susantha Mendis were defendants in the murder case of former chairman of the Rathgama Pradeshiya Sabha, Manoj Mendis, and both of them are also known accomplices of famous drug kingpin Janit Madhushanka, alias Podilassi. Accusations were levelled against the prison's jailer on maintaining contacts with these underworld gang members when examining CCTV footage of a motorbike that was in the area before. It was revealed that the deceased jailer had left the house moments before the raid was conducted. According to the police, he had gone there to purchase a stock of chicken meat. However, there is no poultry farm or a shop that sells chicken meat in the area. The jailer was released of these charges and had reported back to work 4 months ago. The murder of Manoj Mendis gave birth to 2 main underworld gangs in the southern province, and the 2 gangs have been killing members of opposing gangs over a long period of time. However, according to police sources, Podilassi and the leader of the opposing gang, Koskoda Taraka, are the suspects of the murder of the jailer.
Taking a look at yet another somber story, this time reported from the United States of America. A terrorist identified as a white supremacist terrorist armed with a rifle opened fire in a downtown district of Dayton, Ohio, killing 9 people and wounding at least 16 others in the second deadly mass shooting in the United States in less than 24 hours.
Police said they intervened to end the violence, leaving the shooter dead. Assistant Police Chief Matt Carper said the incident began at Dayton's Oregon district. Carper said the motive behind the shooting was not immediately clear and that investigators believed the individual had acted alone. A total of 10 people were killed, including the assailant. 16 others were taken to nearby hospitals for treatment. FBI agents were assisting in the investigation. The shooting in Dayton, a riverfront city of about 140,000 people in southwestern Ohio, followed the mass terrorist shooting at a Walmart store in El Paso, Texas, where 20 were killed and 26 others wounded yesterday morning. El Paso Police Chief Greg Allen said authorities had a manifesto from the suspect that indicates there is a potential nexus to a hate crime. The suspect was identified as a 21-year-old white male from Allen, Texas.
The US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Elena B. Teplitz, posted an explanatory tweet regarding the US security notice that was issued yesterday.
The tweet read, quote, "I understand media and others are focusing on our security notice for Sri Lanka. We regularly remind the travelling public of good practices around significant holidays and large public events," unquote.
The United States will be the most affected if Ranil is without power. What can the US do to ensure that this does not happen? They must find a few Zarans and they can carry out an attack that would make the country tremble. They must create a situation where the presidential election cannot be held. Do not hope that they will not attempt to throw the country down to a place where a so-called caretaker government will be established and the country will be at an indecisive place. If they are to ensure that Wickremesinghe will not lose his job, the foreign powers will attempt to create a situation where the presidential election will not be held. The US Embassy could be warning the US travelers because they are aware of it.
Journalists questioned the Secretary of Defense regarding the US security notice.
This has affected us seriously. I can state that the US Embassy has issued another notice. I think it is important to make the general public aware. When something of this nature is released, there is a threat that there is no security. We have acted to ensure maximum security. It is a problem even for us when things like this are published. I do not know whether there is a conspiracy behind this. As I said earlier, this had an impact on the tourists who are in the country. We suffered a loss as a result.
Matters are undoubtedly heating up in the political sphere of the country, and now the signing of the agreement for an alliance between the United National Party and several other minor parties, which was to be done tomorrow, has been postponed. The General Secretary of the UNP, Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam, noted that the signing was postponed until discussions conclude and a common consensus is reached.
The Working Committee of the UNP as well as its parliamentary group criticised the proposed constitution for the new alliance. Against such a backdrop, last evening the backbench parliamentarians of the UNP convened for a special meeting and arrived at the Temple Trees to meet with the Prime Minister.
What we said was, as a major political party, let's not be suppressed by these 2-3 political leaders who travel in three-wheelers. Rather, let's join hands with the major parties that helped the revolution in 2015 and create this force. We said, let's not hurry.
Who are the three-wheeler leaders? Are they people like Patali Champika Ranawaka or Rajitha Sena Ratna?
What I meant by that was leaders of small parties cannot get together and sign agreements for broad alliances.
Following this meeting, another meeting was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Temple Trees. Party leaders who support the government were present for this meeting. Following an hour of discussions, it had been decided to postpone the signing of the agreement.
We must feel someone who can win for sure. We cannot play around. We are ready to create an alliance with the UNP. The Working Committee of the UNP is not against this front. There are basic rules and there are minor issues in the Constitution. It was said that these need to be rectified. That is our stance as well. I too said that these issues should be rectified. The UNP should lead the alliance and the UNP should also hold the General Secretary position. The leader of the SLMC, Rauf Hakim, spoke. Minister Rishad Baduddin of the ACMC also spoke. All three discussed. What is the opinion? Name the candidate of the UNP. Do not create factions. Name the candidate democratically. Are you going to nominate Ranil Wickremesinghe? We are in agreement. Are you going to nominate Sajith Premadasa? We are in agreement. Is it going to be Karu Jayasuriya? We are in agreement to that as well. What is the hope of the ground level party supporter? They say a UNPer should be nominated. I agree with that 200%. While the parties hoping to form an alliance with the UNP expressed those views, MPs and members of the UNP also presented their views regarding the current situation. A program organized by the Kapruk organization to call for the nomination of Sajith Premadasa as the presidential candidate of the UNP was held today at the Ganadevi Kovil. The event was held under the patronage of State Minister Ashok Abesinghe. The President has given his blessings. I was there at the cabinet meeting and he clearly states that he will not contest the next elections and that he will support us if there's a change in the United National Party. But he did not specifically mention his name at that instance. He said, come with a new candidate and I will give my blessings. But he spoke to me personally and told me who should be fielded. We cannot win without the support of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, and we will definitely get the support of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party through him. Meanwhile, journalists questioned members of the parties due to form an alliance with the UNP regarding a meeting held last night between the UNP representatives and leaders of other parties. At yesterday's meeting, there was a request from the minor parties for a candidate to be named before the alliance is formed. I have spoken with those party leaders personally, and every time I spoke with them personally, they said that the candidate should be named and the candidate should be Sajith Premadasa. Like I said before, the crisis is between those who want to form the alliance first and then select the candidate, and those who want to select the candidate before the formation of the alliance. There are two opinions. I believe we can solve this by this week. No, that is the wrong opinion. He has a degree from a reputed university in England, the London School of Economics. Above all that, he was in Parliament for 20 years. Being in Parliament for 20 years would be the equivalent to 3 degrees. Almost all the people in the country ask who the presidential candidate is. Even though I am from the UNP, I do not know who is contesting from our party. But I have to say one thing. Whoever contests this time, he has to understand the plight of the poor people. He should stand for the poor people. The presidential candidate should be able to serve the poor people to the best of his ability. The 234th, 235th and 236th model villages of the Samata Sevena Yali Pibidena Udagamani initiative were vested with the people today in Madagama, Monragala. The event was held under the auspices of Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa. The three villages have been named Pagure Gamaralagama, Bakini Gahavela Raterala and Pubbare Ranbandagama. The villages have been constructed at a cost of 45.4 million rupees. The three villages with 37 houses have access to clean drinking water, electricity, entry routes and other infrastructure facilities. Everyone has heard from time to time the rulers ask the public to tighten their belts on behalf of the country. They say this, but they release their belts and receive all kinds of benefits through state resources. The general public should decide whether the resources of the country are to maintain the rulers and their families or whether it is for the people. If you take the correct decision in November, for the first time we will create rulers who undergo hardships on behalf of the people. We require a leader who works with the people. The country needs a leader who understands the common people and their sorrows. That is being done by him. The people of the country are asking for Sajith because he is working 24 hours a day with an objective and a vision and with determination to develop the country. We wish to say that Sajith Premadasa is ready to provide leadership today and tomorrow. He is ready to face the future. That is why the public is rallying behind him. Following are the views expressed regarding the presidential candidates of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party as well as the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. 11th of August will be a historical day in our country. The person who will have the opportunity to become the next president of the country will be announced by Mahinda Rajapaksa at the party convention. The other leaders of the joint opposition have agreed to this. We will not campaign for the candidate that will be put forward by the Pohottua on the 11th. We invite Mahinda Rajapaksa to hold discussions with President Maithripala Sirisena before the 11th and reach an agreement. The Pohottua cannot go forward alone. We have to inform the swollen-headed intellectuals of the SLPP while you go from house to house, door to door and look for people. If the two parties are not brought together, we will be in trouble. The new building constructed in memory of late Venerable Bellangwila Vimala Ratanathera and late Venerable Bellangwila Soma Ratanathera was declared open today. The event was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The vessel carrying the cremated remains of the late Venerable Bellangwila Vimala Ratanathera and late Venerable Bellangwila Soma Ratanathera was also placed at this building for the viewing of the public. Chief Prelate of the Askiri chapter, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Jnana Ratanathera and Mahasangha were present at the event along with opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa and others.
When you take a look at the cost of this, if you don't rob a bank, you will not be able to do this further. We know that if that is done, we will be arrested. If I wanted to, I too could have gone to Singapore. I have permanent residency there. If we go there, the Singaporean government will drag us and put us here. The problem is only with the other people. Even though you inform the Prime Minister, they have not provided a response. The other person our President has to work with is a very clever person when he speaks with world leaders.
Too clever means too cunning. When
people are too clever, they become too cunning. Then it becomes difficult. I think you are facing a lot of hardships because of this. We must come out of this situation. The leaders who are engaged in politics must also think. There are instances where a person can be fooled. Even all of us can be fooled for some time. But you cannot fool everyone all the time. As of late, they are attacking the monks. They are not slinging mud, they are attacking us with feces. They are attempting to destroy the reputation of the clergy. The leader of those who sling mud must understand that asking someone to seek forgiveness from the monks will not suffice. They must be removed from the party. I am disappointed if they do not have the spine to do so. I did not make that statement aimed at the president. We were ensured that the president has a strong backbone through the speech on the day the 52-day crisis ended. I ask you to draw your attention to the problems faced by the people of this country.
හොඳ කොන්දක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි මේ රටේ ප්‍රශ්න ගැන ඔබතුමාගෙනුත් මම ඉල්ලා හිටින්නේ අවධානය යොමු කරන්න.
A website reported today that Sri Lanka's former ambassador to Russia, Udayanka Weeratunga, who is currently evading an issued Interpol red warrant notice for his arrest, was seen in Dubai attending the presidential hopeful candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa's election campaign named Elia yesterday.
Earlier on the 16th of October 2016, a red warrant notice was issued by the Colombo Fort Magistrate seeking Interpol's assistance for his arrest. This was due to the alleged involvement and financial fraud committed by Weeratunga during the purchase of several MiG aircraft for the Air Force during the former government. The website says despite the issuing of an Interpol red warrant for his arrest, Udayanka Weeratunga continues to travel the world freely.
During the past few days, we met many people who, despite working the entire day, cannot afford a single meal. The hopes of these people continue to dwindle with each passing day. Meeting the Gammadda team, however, rekindled their hope of a better life.
While travelling across the Hambantota district, we met a group of people to whom near-death experiences are an almost daily occurrence. We also met fishermen from Mirijavela whose lives at sea have been disrupted by large-scale development projects. These villages do not have a fisheries port. The residents of Katuwana, Sinikugala and Valasmulla also spoke to us of the issues that they face. Another Gammadda team visited the Vaunia district. Residents of Thiruegama in Vaunia live a life of sorrow in this region where development has been reduced to only a dream. There is one well to provide water to the entire village, but the water in the well is contaminated. In a country that speaks of mega development, the residents of Sivapuram and Pudiyakovilakulam in Vaunia have been living in these micro huts for decades. The lack of proper housing is a prominent issue in this village. Our Gammadda teams visited the residents of Sekatipala, Shivapuram, Selvanagar and Alagalla. The Gammadda team in the Kurunegala district came across many dilapidated tanks in the area. The farmers of Nahetikulam, who once nourished the country with their produce, now walk for miles in search of a single meal. Although the Nahetikulam Vava holds a substantial quantity of water, it has not been renovated for the past 3 decades. This has resulted in about 40,000 acres of farming lands becoming barren. It's been 7 years since the Villa Katupota Vava had turned into a forest. There is not a single day that passes by where the residents of Eriava Kurunegala are not affected by wild elephants. Travelling in search of untold stories of rural Sri Lanka, the Gammadda teams visited the villages of Mitiava, Valpalua and Hettigama.
In an interview with the Ceylon Today newspaper, Director General of Customs PSM Charles spoke about the controversy surrounding the waste containers at the Colombo port and the garbage found at the Katunayaka Free Trade Zone.
She added that an officer informed that there are 400 containers remaining in the port. Director General of Sri Lanka Customs PSM Charles said the demurrage's cost for 400 garbage containers was 800 million rupees and added that the importer will be charged for abandoning containers in the container terminal for the last 1 year. The DG said that already 100-odd separate containers were released to the free trade zone in Katunayaka by Haley's Free Zone Limited. She added that these containers released to the free trade zone in Katunayaka was part of the hub scope operation and was brought into the country by Hailes. The Director General noted that the customs is still investigating whether the 400 containers remaining in the Colombo port terminal were also shipped in by Hailes. She added, quote, "It is premature to reveal any information," unquote.
On to a developing story from overseas. Now, Iranian state media announced that Iran has seized yet another foreign tanker in the Gulf. The incident comes amid high tension after the US tightened sanctions on Iran's oil sector.
The Revolutionary Guard Corps commander was quoted as saying its naval forces had seized a foreign tanker in the Persian Gulf that was smuggling fuel for some Arab countries. It said the tanker was carrying 700,000 litres of fuel, adding that 7 sailors had been detained. The sanctions were reimposed after Washington's unilateral withdrawal from a landmark 2015 nuclear deal. Iran had previously accused ships of smuggling fuel. Also, last month, Iran seized British-flagged tanker, the Stena Impero, in the Strait of Hormuz, saying it had collided with a fishing vessel. In addition, the US has blamed Iran for 2 separate attacks using explosives which damaged oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman in May and June, an allegation Tehran has denied.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1. Take care and good night.